Will you push for that?
We will wait for the conclusion of any investigation that is being conducted by the county prosecutor's office.
There are several members of the public in the hallway who are upset that they were not allowed into this
Right.
event. What do you say to them?
Well, Ted, if you, not to be disrespectful, if you had been on time, we went over that at the beginning, and yesterday you received a media advisory, which was not a press release, and it was an opportunity to make the three of us available to the press who have been calling us repeatedly. And as I said earlier in greater length, the city did not release any information subsequent to the March 3rd meeting, mainly because we wanted to make certain that the information that we had, what was confidential and what was not confidential, what was part of an investigation of any type and which was not. We didn't want to injure anybody's rights who's involved in this, and we also didn't want to interfere with the county prosecutor's office. We would try to be totally cooperative with the county prosecutor's office. So what we did was did our due diligence with our internal staff and our legal staff and also outside consultants, and working with the other agencies to find out what could be released today to clear up the picture for our citizens and what could not be. And it would be part of a further investigation, be part of further disciplinary action. So, today's meeting was simply to make ourselves available so that all of you did not have to continually to come one by one, and we answer all the questions and you could share the information. Okay, this is not a press conference. Okay, Rich?
You were saying you could reconsider this motion after the investigation by the prosecutor's office.
Right.
But they are not doing a criminal, they're just doing administrative. Would
Right.
an administrative oversight by Sheehan, which he inherited from Sorrentino, be enough to prevent him from being chief? Would that be a bad enough violation so he could never be chief?
I don't think we're considering that at this point. I think what the council is trying to do is get all the facts together so we can make an intelligent decision, and all the information has not been available to us, and as it comes in, we will reconsider this matter and decide what we're going to do moving forward. Obviously, we want to be fair to everyone, and we're looking at all options.
So, what is the big question about Chief Sheehan's capacity as chief? I mean, if you could kind of boil it down to what did he or didn't he do that you're trying to decide?
The information that Mr. McLeod conveyed, I think, laid the framework for what the council considered when reaching its decision. I'm not going to speculate and put words into the members of the into the mouths of the members of the governing body. They all made their decisions based on all the information that was available, and at this point, it's not for me to comment as to why it happened and what the reasons were.
Is Lieutenant Lear still on the force, or is he suspended, or what's his status at this point?
Bruce is the appropriate authority. He handles all personnel.
Lieutenant Lear is still an employee in his same capacity as a police lieutenant.
When the issue of comp time was raised, was Lieutenant and Rob Sheehan told, don't do this anymore? And did they stop?
I want to say, I think you're asking the simple question, and I want to say yes. As I pointed out, from the very first date, which was July the 10th of 2014, after receiving that letter and reading it and reviewing it, I immediately reached out to Chief Sheehan and Lieutenant Lear and provided them a copy of it. And there was the discussion about, whether this should continue. And to answer your question, the obvious was no, that it should not. And that commenced the process of trying to sort out how much time was involved, what time the lieutenant thought that he had accrued. And the thing that has still yet to be determined in this process is if in the first instance that someone deems that the lieutenant was entitled to do this, if there are hours that he still thinks that he's accumulating, what does that mean going forward? What is the value of that? And does it cease? Is there some cutoff to it based on his contract once we get through the process?